to promo code ESPN25 at checkout to get 10% off your next order. Don't buy just any seat. Get a Vivid seat. I know I promised I was going to get into Joel Embiid, but my boss, one of my bosses rather, texted me about how Lamar Jackson, because I'm busy raving about his running ability, but I don't have him as the best quarterback in the NFL. He's talking about how Lamar Jackson has thrown more touchdown passes from the pocket than anybody in the National Football League. So Lamar Jackson's got his cheerleaders, okay? Let me say this. He deserves them. Lamar Jackson is sensational. I'm incredibly proud of him, particularly considering the fact that he came on my show First Take, which airs every weekday morning on ESPN from 10 a.m. to noon, Eastern Time, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific. He came on our show during Super Bowl week last year, following an abysmal performance in the postseason against the Los Angeles Chargers, in which he played 3 quarters and 2 minutes, completing just 3 passes for 25 yards before he got on a tear late in that game. Nevertheless, he swore that he would be working hard all offseason and that he would improve tremendously, and that's exactly what he did. And I give him major, major props. But like I'm going to explain to my bosses, and I hope the rest of you consider this, just because you throw touchdown passes from the pocket doesn't make you a pocket passer. Let me explain. When you have the ability, the uncanny, innate ability, the incredibly unique ability to run the football the way that Lamar Jackson does, what happens is that teams can't drop back in coverage the way they normally do. It's difficult to blitz you because if they blitz you and they miss, you got the wide open field available to you. If they don't blitz you, they still keep a spy home in coverage because of your ability to run the football at any moment. Sometimes in Lamar Jackson's case, too. As a result, there are less people in the secondary. And as a result, that opens up the floodgate. Now, obviously, that makes him incredibly formidable, which is why he's the leading candidate for league MVP. But the reason why I say to you, being a pocket passer is entirely different than somebody who can throw from the pocket because your running ability is so surreal that less people are in coverage. I'm talking about the guy that can throw into coverage when there aren't spies. I'm talking about the guys that can make you open with their passes even when supposedly you ain't open because they can teardrop passes to you on a dime. I'm talking about those guys. I'm talking about what made Tom Brady great, what made Drew Brees great. Open. How many times have we seen Lamar Jackson throwing a touchdown pass to dudes that were practically not even in the vicinity? Because you got to watch out for him so badly because of his running ability that he could throw it in the coverage. Now, some people say, that don't make no damn sense, Stephen A. Quarterback's a quarterback's a quarterback. Here's what I will remind you of. Even though we never said he was Lamar Jackson, what were we saying about RG3 his rookie year? We were raving about RG3. He had the Washington Redskins en route to the playoffs. He was absolutely phenomenal. He ran north and south. He wasn't the most evasive dude in the world, but he could really, really fly. And the Washington Redskins, because of his ability to run with the football, he was incredibly, incredibly formidable. And then Haloti Ngata made that hit, ironically for the Baltimore Ravens, made that hit against them in a regular season game. Nearly had his damn leg amputated. RG3's leg was never the same. And as a result, where did his game go? Suddenly we found out he couldn't just drop back in coverage and fling that football as a passer. He wasn't awful. We've seen worse, but he wasn't the RG3 we knew and loved because you didn't have to spy on him the way you once did. And you could afford to drop back in coverage. And as a result, those passes that he could make before suddenly were compromised because there were more people in coverage because they knew he wasn't going to run. That's what I'm saying. Now, hopefully that never happens to Lamar Jackson. And hopefully he stays upright and he's healthy throughout his entire career. We wish him nothing but the best. But when we talk about pure quarterback passers, his name does not come up and it shouldn't come up. He's my league MVP right now. He eclipsed Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has dropped to number 2. Lamar Jackson is clearly number 1. But let's understand that what we're talking about here is a quarterback who is an elite runner of the football, the leading rusher for the #1 rushing attack in all of football in the Baltimore Ravens. He's improved dramatically flinging the football, and he deserves credit for it. But my personal, this is just Stephen A here, my personal definition of an elite quarterback is somebody I can rely upon to drop back in the pocket without worrying about them running the football, knowing they could fling that football all over the field with accuracy. That is my definition of an elite quarterback. Is Lamar Jackson the leading candidate for MVP? Absolutely. Is he the best quarterback in football? No. I'd still give Russell Wilson an edge over him, and I'd still give Patrick Mahomes an edge over him. And give Aaron Rodgers some protection. I'd damn sure pick Aaron Rodgers over him. That's just where I stand. I'll get back to Joel Embiid later because I ain't getting off that subject. Well, I'm going to deal with that. Kevin, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
How you doing, Stephen?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
My name is Kevin Liggins from Bridgeport, Connecticut. All right. I agree with you mostly about 90%, but I don't agree with you totally. What does an offense do to set up the passing attack?
They run the football.
All right. That's it. They run the ball. Ingram runs the ball, right?
Both of them run the ball. Ingram and Lamar Jackson run the football.
Right. All right. And does Lamar, he does the thing. Why
Kevin, let me stop you right there. Kevin?
Huh?
You don't seem ready for this phone call, bro. Now let me stop. Let me try again. Let me start again. My personal preference when it comes to judging a quarterback is an ability to simply stand in a pocket and fling that damn football all over the field. Period.
You know? But what I'm saying, the final analysis is what? To win the games, right?
Sure. Tim Tebow won games. Did you know that?
Right.
Did you know that Tim Tebow won games?
All right.
See, if we're going to be fair, not to say that because Lamar Jackson was a better passer of the football than Tim Tebow was. But to be fair, when Tim Tebow was quarterbacking the Denver Broncos, people like me and others said he couldn't throw. Did you know that the Denver Broncos had the #1 rushing attack that season?
Yes.
Because Tim Tebow was running the football. But we still recognize the fact that he had some work to do as a passer. So, again, Lamar Jackson is considerably better as a pro than Tim Tebow was. But as a pure passer on a National Football League level, there are other guys I would pick ahead of Lamar Jackson strictly as a passer. But he is my league MVP because of the way he's playing and the way the Ravens are playing with him. He is my league MVP.
Everything you said is true. But the only thing I'm saying, the final analysis is to win games. You got to run an attack to set up the
Well, y'all say that, but he was running the football effectively last year, too, until that playoff game against the Chargers. And then you have folks in Baltimore clamoring for Joe Flacco to be inserted into the game because of his inability to throw the football. I got to run. I appreciate the call. But y'all need what I'm saying. Don't act like you don't know. Richard, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
Hi, Stephen A. I am one of your biggest fans. You're my inspiration. I agree with you that Lamar Jackson is the MVP. He can run as well as pass with the football as good as anyone out there. I think he's going to take the Ravens to the Super Bowl.
I think you're right. I think the Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers are on a collision course. We just have to hope and pray that Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady doesn't ruin it. Now, I don't care about Patrick Mahomes. I don't want Tom Brady to ruin it because I don't like New England's offense this year. But if Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Sammy Watkins and Shady McCoy with Damian Williams and those boys, with Andy Reid as the coach calling the plays, ended up in the Super Bowl against the Baltimore Ravens, I'm not going to be upset by that. What I will be upset about is if their defense stinks up the joint from now until the Super Bowl, but Kansas City ends up getting there anyway. I don't want that. I love the balance that exists with the Ravens. They're strong on offense, they're strong on defense, they're strong on special teams, and they're strong overall on their coaching. I love that. Potentially going up against Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers. I love the rematch of a Super Bowl between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. I would love that.
That's my Super Bowl, Stephen A. Smith.
All right. Appreciate the call. Thank you. Steve, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick. Go ahead.
Hey, Stephen A. Big fan of yours.
By the way, beautiful name. Beautiful name. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Steve, too. Yeah. Stephen A., why is Colin Kaepernick taking all the pressure on what he did in the NFL, taking a knee for what he thought?
Stop. I don't understand your question. Be direct, slow it down so my listeners can understand precisely what you're asking. Ask the question.
Okay, why aren't some of the other players in the NFL that took a knee with Colin Kaepernick, why ain't they not on the team? And why aren't they blackballed like him?
Well, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, they didn't file a grievance against the NFL. Colin Kaepernick did. They didn't settle with the grievance. Colin Kaepernick did. My sources tell me the agreement was for approximately $8 million, and they speculated that lawyers got about $5 million of it. I don't know. I just know that's what was told to me. Nevertheless, you file a grievance, you settle for the grievance, you settle with the grievance, you receive monetary compensation for it. One could argue Eric Reed took a knee. Eric Reed was a part of the grievance. Eric Reed is still playing for the Carolina Panthers. Kenny Stills protested. He's still in the National Football League. I think one of the things that you need to pay attention to is that at the time that Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee, 99% of the league was not. Most of those players never took a knee. Remember, when they all took a knee, that was when it even included Jerry Jones, because the president of the United States came out at a rally in Alabama, if I remember correctly, and said, I'd fire all those SOBs. Fire them. And when he addressed the players as SOBs, the NFL collectively took a knee in unity, in a show of unity, to essentially protest against the president's characterization of them. Until that time, no one took, I won't say no one, but literally a handful of players maybe took a knee in concert with Colin Kaepernick.
I understand.
Most players did not.
Okay, I understand that. Now, let me ask you this question.
Hurry up. Go ahead.
Okay. We know the president's a racist. Okay. Do you think that any of the owners in the National Football League are racist?
Stop. I appreciate the call. First of all, on this show, we are not going to engage in calling the president of the United States that. I'm not going to be a part of that. Nobody at ESPN should be a part of that. We're a sports network. And see, that's where we go into very, very, very dangerous territory. Because the bottom line is this. We're sports people. We want to be inclusionary. We want support from every community, not just the black community, not just the Latino community, not just the white community, not just the Jewish community. We want anybody who loves sports to watch ESPN. And the fact of the matter is, this president, no matter how many tens of millions of people abhor the personification of him, you got tens of millions of people who voted for him and supported him. We ain't a part of that, number one. Number two, owners. We could say what we want about them, okay? But the fact of the matter is, until the Colin Kaepernick situation came about, we weren't calling them racist, and it didn't stop any of us from watching football as the National Football League elevated to the number one product in our sports genre, period. So why all of a sudden, because they have a different position on Colin Kaepernick, that we must character assassinate them? They could just very much emphatically disagree with the kind of impact he has on business. I believe they're wrong. And I do believe he's been blackballed. And I don't believe it's fair. But I'm not going to be a part of calling individuals that I do not know racist just because I don't like a decision they've made. More with the Stephen A. Smith Show in a minute. Vivid Seats, the top ticket source for the live events you crave, now has a loyalty